So it's it. This is it. We're at the end of the year now. Happy New Year, everybody. What's the top 10 podcasts of 2024 you should go back and review if you want a better 2025? That's what we're going to share today. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for you. You work so hard for your money and you're now ready for your money. Start working harder for you today. You want that freedom of cash flow right now. You don't want to wait 30 or 40 years or longer before you finally enjoy it, but you want that enjoyment of life today to become work optional where you work because you want to, not because you have to. And rather than just getting rich, you want to live a rich life because as you're blessed financially, you have the greater means and resources and ability to bless the lives of those around you. Well, I'm excited here to create that ripple effect for you going into 2025. Thank you so much for you guys for binging, sharing, and making this show special and amazing. I appreciate it. And I especially appreciate you guys that are now willing to take action to do something great. Many of you, special shout out to those you, many of you have reached out to us here in recent weeks. Thank you so much for doing so because it gives us an opportunity to not just create a ripple effect through you and your family's life, but it also allows you to do something greater in the world around you. So thank you so much for allowing us to do that. As a reminder, guys, if you're looking for a new 2025 and passive income is your goal, you need to go to moneyripples.com, try the passive income calculator today to see just what your potential passive income is right now. And by the way, don't fret because even if it's not a huge number, there might still be a way to serve you to be able to help make that number bigger. So be sure to reach out to us today at moneyripples.com. Try out that income calculator right now. All right, so this is it. I love this time of year because we get to talk about the top 10 podcast episodes based on your downloads and so forth, views, downloads, and everything. We conglomerate that all together to find what are the top 10 podcasts that you actually enjoyed. Yes, I get it. Sometimes, sometimes you get Apple Podcasts or Spotify that might present and put some certain episodes before your eyes than others. But I know a lot of you guys have been really binging on all these episodes and so forth. So definitely want to see which ones really resonate with you guys that really got you saying, I want a piece of that. I want to be able to learn those things. So I want to be able to review that with you today. All right, so let's dive in. All right, so number 10, this was actually one we did last April. This is an episode I did, which is called Why Financial Planning is Failing You. So I actually kind of dive deep. If you've ever wondered, what are financial advisors teaching or why isn't it not working? What are those things? And maybe you've had a hard time describing it to friends or colleagues, family members, people like that. Maybe you have a hard time even knowing it for yourself, why you should be firing a financial advisor. That is the episode for you. Definitely check that out. Why financial planning is failing you. That's a great episode to check out from last April. So many good points in there. If you really understand that, internalize it, you'll start to understand that you don't have to fear a financial advisor. You can actually take control of your own money with more confidence, more faith to do something better with it. So definitely check that one out. So why financial planning is failing you. Number 9, this one was actually a part of a 3-part series. I only got part 1, but I'm going to give honorable mention to parts 2 and 3. And that's the secret to building wealth. So the secret to building wealth, part 1 was the one that you guys definitely went into. And it's very common when you have a multi episode type of situation. It's very common for those numbers to trail off. So number 2 and 3 didn't make the top 10 because, number 1 just got number 9. But I definitely recommend all 3 of those. This was from last spring. This is about right around last May, May of 2024, The Secret to Building Wealth. So there's part 1, 2, and 3. Part 1, we talked about what are those 3 money mindsets of spender, saver, steward. And then we went a little bit into the spender mindset as well and kind of that scarcity mindset and how that dictates people not having financial freedom. But then in part 2, I talk about the saver mindset, which I know a lot of you guys fit into. Many of you guys might find yourself being the saver where you can't pay off debt fast enough. You never feel like you can save enough. You've been taught and you've been maybe a good boy or a good girl, saving all your money, doing all those things you're supposed to be doing, but wondering if it's just enough. So that saver mindset, I dive into really how it's actually still a mindset of scarcity and what you can actually shift to change, which goes into part 3, talking about that steward mindset, which is how do you really become free? How do you actually truly become abundant with your money and actually create more wealth than you would even as a saver? Of course, even more than a spender too. So really good stuff. I went deep into that one. I spent a lot of time into that mindset. I've had a lot of even my own clients, the ones that even are invested for passive income, come back and say, I needed these episodes. Like this helped me a lot. So I highly suggest checking out The Secret of Building Wealth, parts 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so number 8. This one's kind of surprised me because it's only been out for about a month, but this one already hit number 8. It probably is because of timing a little bit. There was some timing with the election and everything else. But the episode's actually, will Trump cause another boom or crash? And I brought Francis Stacey on, who's predicted even like some of the fallout that happened in the last recession, the global financial crisis, and so forth. And so we were able to talk about that as what will really happen as a result of that. So if you're kind of wondering, okay, is there going to be a boom or a crash? Is it going to be in stocks, real estate? What's going to happen with those? Really good one if you want to kind of get a feel for what's going on in the economy right now. So definitely check out that number 8, which is, will Trump cause another boom or crash? Number 7, this one should not be a surprise. And this one also came out in the fall. This was actually in mid-September. So really only about 3 months old, but it's already made it up to number 7. And it's actually really close to number 6. It's just about surpassing number 6 already. And this one's about becoming financially independent in 10 years or less, right? In less than 10 years. Actually, it's, yeah, become financially independent in less than 10 years. This episode right here, this one was actually done with myself, talking about the very thing we teach our own clients, right? Is how do you create enough passive income where you can actually become financially independent within 10 years or less? Naturally, of course, we don't make any promises. It could take longer than 10 years for some situations, or even a year or two with others, right? There's a lot of different variances. But a lot of the people that we actually work with one on one, it's not too uncommon to say, yeah, we could actually get this done in 10 years or less. And it doesn't require you becoming a multimillionaire or anything like that. We've had some people, actually, even just since I recorded the episode, some people that are on track to beat many of their clients that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, that they've been using to invest. But because these people live on less and they have the ability to still invest, even if it's a few $100,000, can actually get there much faster than these people that had millions of dollars. So really good one to talk about, like, how does that break down? How do we do this differently than waiting 30 or 40 years? Just like we talk about all this time on the show. Great one. If you haven't done it, or maybe you watched it or listened to it a while ago, go back and review it. There's a lot of good nuggets in that episode. Yeah, number 7 rank, lucky number 7, become financial independent in less than 10 years. Check that out. All right, number 6. This one is not a surprise to me either. When it came out, when I did the title, I knew it probably captured some attention, which is, could you make 4% a month investing in the stock market? This was with guest Mark Yagi. 4%, obviously, a month in the stock market, even if you are not a fan of the stock market, like I'm not really anymore. I used to be, but not so much. I thought, this is an intriguing concept because although I'm not a big stock investing fan, I used to be a stock trader and I know what's possible there. And so I thought bringing on Mark would be a good thing, and this is actually at the beginning of the year. This is just exactly a year ago. We brought him on just around the new year of 2024 and definitely showed strong. I think 4% a month in anything would probably capture your attention anyways. But a great one to review, especially if you're looking at the stock side of things, is, what's the good, the bad, and the ugly of the stock market. Great one there. And even a strategy he shares with you about how you could create potentially 4% a month. No promises, potentially you could do that. So just check out that one there. All right, now we're getting to the top 5. So number 5, here's why multifamily investing can suck. This one actually had significantly more views than even number 6, and as well as downloads. Multifamily, it's no secret at all. The last 2 years has been ugly in the multifamily space. Some people come out okay. Like I had some investments that came out okay. Others, maybe not so much, right? Majority of mine have been good, but there's always been a few exceptions, or maybe the returns weren't as good as what we're hoping. And so I bring on my CMO and number 2, person in my company, Danielle Hollenback, to talk about that because she had been actively investing in multifamily, trying to get more doors to create that financial independence, and found out there's a lot more headaches with those more doors. Now, granted, single family can be hard as well, right? There's no doubt. But it's really good to kind of get into the ugly part because a lot of times we get people on here talking about multifamily, they're selling multifamily. So they may not always give you the ugly picture. So it's good to kind of get that real life experience of Danielle and I just talking about that, sharing our experiences, talking about what kind of sucks. And so it's kind of a fun little, sharing, bantering in some cases of what we had, but also good life lessons. So if you've been considering multifamily investing, I think that's definitely one you should be checking out right now. Okay, now we're getting to number 4. Number 4, this one probably is not a surprise to you because it's actually Dave Ramsey advice that I actually like is the name of the episode. Dave Ramsey advice that I actually like. This one was also from about halfway in the year, July of this year, talking about some of the advice that Dave Ramsey gives. I'm not a huge enemy of Dave Ramsey, right? There's a lot of things I do disagree with him on, but there's advice that I do like that he gives. And so there was a particular video I shared. It's kind of a screen share of one of his videos of advice I was actually agreeing with him on and said, yes, this is good. Now this other part, not so much, but this part was actually good. So I go into that. So kind of a good one. It's kind of entertaining for you to watch as well or listen to, but definitely a great episode. Number 3, how did David Lecko turn $4,000 into $75,000? Just the title alone is a no surprise. It became number 3. Not at all. This one was actually at the new year last year. So this is exactly a year ago. David Lecko, I brought him on. I had him on for talking about like driving for dollars and things like that. Well, here he talks about how to turn the 4,000 he did with real estate into $75,000. I've heard people make bigger claims, but this one, let's be honest. If you're somebody who says, I don't have a lot of cash, I'm trying to make more with it, and maybe you have some time on your hands too, he's giving you a pretty good strategy about how to do that. And so talking about active real estate investing versus the passive stuff we often talk about gives you some really good tips on that. Just so you know, that number 3, leaps and bounds better than even the Dave Ramsey episode that I did. I mean, this is now we're getting into like stratospheric levels of downloads and watches or views, I should say, for YouTube that we got. So that was a great one. How did David Lecko turn 4,000 to 75,000? If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now. All right, so before we get into the top 2, I just wanted to throw out some honorable mentions. I mentioned, of course, about the Secret to Building Wealth parts 2 and 3. Don't miss those as well. But here's a few more I would check out. The first one is, which retirement plans are politicians threatening? I did this one with Army Robinson, if you guys remember that, right from November 1st. Very recent, but still got a lot of downloads. Might even made it to the top 10 eventually had it had more time. So I want to be sure to bring that one up because that one talks about what really happens on Capitol Hill. Are your retirement plans under fire? Are there some threats that could be happening and changes that could be happening in Washington, D.C.? Great episode there. Another one as well is whole life insurance a smart investment? First, I talk about how it's not an investment, but 2, is it really a smart strategy or tool that you should be using with your investing? I talk about that in that episode. So no surprise there. I know a lot of you guys wonder about how to use infinite banking with investing to get that double dip effect where you get paid in 2 places at once. So this next one, huge returns from financial education with our client, Voyatech. This one's a great episode. We did this in October. Voyatech is some great education. I mean, this is a guy that is currently actively doing some passive investing with us as our client. But what I love is that this guy went on a journey like many of you. He listened to different podcasts. He even went to different coaching programs or mastermind groups and whatnot. And so he talks about the things that he's learned along the way that helped him accelerate his growth. And even talking about the value of education and how he's like, listen, education, you can't take that away. That's something that can produce infinite rates of return. And I agree. So, especially when you're listening to podcasts, this is a great podcast episode to listen to as well. Okay, so back to our top 10. Number two here, this one, I will tell you, this one could have become number 1 if it had more time. And this is somebody who I'll probably bring back on. This one was about how Christina Wise went from handouts to financial freedom. And so this one was a great episode. We did this in late October with Christina Wise. Fantastic. And that's Christina with 2 S's, by the way, and a K for Christina. Fantastic episodes. So many great synergies there. I do truly believe we're actually going to bring her back on into this new year to talk about something new that she and I will be cooking up together. So you guys, just as a teaser, you'll probably want to watch that episode, of course, or listen to that episode. Check it out. Great story. Great advice tips. And I've had several clients that reached out saying they loved it. In fact, the crazy thing is I had several clients reach out to her. My own paying clients reached out to her afterwards saying, I liked your stuff. Is there a way I can hire you? What do you got? Right. So she definitely gave some great advice, sharing her experiences in real estate investing over really the last 20 plus years. So I would definitely check that out. And that now leads us to the number 1. I don't know if we should do a drum roll. I don't know, whatever we can do, mic roll. I don't know. Anyways, that was dumb. That's my corny behavior. So anyways, we got the number 1 coming up here. This one was number one. Like I said, Christina's might have beat this one. I would give it more time because this one did come from almost a year ago, but it definitely consistently gets more and more views and listens all the time because it's one that really challenges a big myth. And this is even a myth that you would think I would like, but I'm not a person that likes to perpetuate myths, even if it comes into our own self interest. And that's about should you put all your money into infinite banking? Or the title of the podcast is actually don't put all your money into infinite banking. Where I give advice talking about do not do some of the infinite banking stuff out there where people use as a bill pay account, you run all your money through it. I get some people say, well, should I do all my investing with infinite banking? The answer is no. Now, are there certain situations to use it in versus others? Yes. And that's what I get deep into in that episode of like, how do you actually use infinite banking to get really one, keep your sanity, but two, still get good returns from it so that you can get your money to create more leverage, getting you to build up more cash than you would just using a simple savings account. So great one to use, especially that really hits those infinite bankers between the eyes saying, hey, no. This is not supposed to be this bill pay account. This is not something you use to run all your money in. That's what lying insurance agents will tell you so they make a bigger commission. Don't fall for it. So I definitely recommend if you're interested in anything about infinite banking, even if you already have a policy, whether with us or someone else, you need to listen to that episode. So don't put all your money into infinite banking is the number one episode for 2024, voted by, of course, you based on downloads and view counts. So again, guys, I'm so excited for this. 2024 is now ended. We're now moving to 2025. I'm looking forward to a fantastic year, and I hope you are too. Again, if you have topics you want to hear from, maybe the topics that didn't get addressed, not just today, but other ones, you say, Chris, I would love to hear an episode on blank. Shoot me an email personally to my own personal email box. Shoot an email to chris@moneyripples.com and say, Chris, I would love you to cover an episode titled this or about this subject. Please reach out to me. I would love to hear your ideas. In the meantime, guys, if there's any way we can support you, you can always go to moneyripples.com to contact us. But guys, let's look forward to a great 2025 and see what episodes you might end up enjoying and being your favorites. So, anyways, Happy New Year to you and to your family, and make it a wonderful and prosperous week and new year. We'll see you later.